health problems?
That I don't know, right? What I know is that he was really health conscious. He was a vegan. He didn't abuse alcohol. I didn't know of him abusing drugs. He worked out, so, that also really concerned me because it made me think that, wow, so you mean you do all these things to take...
The bombshell just dropped in the courtroom and nobody saw it coming. Prince's name connected to Diddy's trial has sent shockwaves through the industry. The rumors had been swirling for years, but now they're front and center in what could be the most explosive celebrity case we've seen. When the news first broke about Diddy's alleged crimes, most people thought they understood the scope of the accusations. But as layers continue peeling back, what's emerging is a web of power, silence, and celebrity connections that goes deeper than anyone imagined. And at the center of it all, the last person anyone expected, Prince, the musical genius known for his privacy, his principles, and his mysterious death in 2016.
The first Diddy party I went to was at Prince's house. So you want to go to Prince's house to the Diddy party where Tyrese is performing and Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher are swinging on swings. That is what's happening on the other side of the wall. And so the one thing that makes this party different than a Jamie Foxx party or any other celebrity party that wrangles a bunch of young women or guys or whatever too, is that Diddy didn't let you bring your security in the party.
When Jason Lee first mentioned those wild parties at Prince's mansion, people were stunned. But what made these gatherings different from any other celebrity event wasn't just the guest list featuring stars like Tyrese performing or Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher on swings. It was one very specific rule: no outside security allowed. Think about that for a second. Why would someone be so adamant about controlling who was watching? The levels of access were strictly monitored, creating an environment where whatever happened inside stayed inside. This wasn't just another exclusive Hollywood party. It was a carefully orchestrated ecosystem where only certain eyes were allowed to witness what transpired. Prince was known for being intensely private, calculating, and always 10 steps ahead. He never attended these parties himself, which had everyone thinking he just didn't want to be part of the chaos. But what if there was another reason? What if those walls had eyes? Industry insiders are now whispering that Prince might have kept recordings of everything that happened in his home, documenting activities that could shake Hollywood to its core. These weren't just casual gatherings. They were events where boundaries were pushed and crossed, where the usual rules of celebrity conduct didn't apply. And Prince, ever the master strategist, may have been collecting evidence of it all. Sources close to the artist have hinted that he maintained a sophisticated surveillance system throughout his property, capturing everything from casual conversations to the most private moments. If true, those recordings would be devastating for numerous high-profile figures, Diddy potentially being just the tip of the iceberg.
On December 31st, 1999, my publishing contract with Warner Chappell expired, thus emancipating the name I was given before birth, Prince, from all long-term restrictive documents.
I had to search deep within my heart and spirit, and I wanted to make a change and move to a new plateau in my life. And one of the ways in which I did that was to change my name. It sort of divorced me from the past and all the hang-ups that go along with it, as it's been well chronicled in deep dispute with my record label.
Which is Warner Brothers, right?
Yeah. We had some issues that were basically about ownership of the music and how often I was supposed to record and things like that. I really searched deep within to find out the answer to whether fame was most important to me or my spiritual well-being, and I chose the latter.
The courtroom drama has already unleashed a parade of unexpected names during jury selection. Michelle Williams, Robert Downey Jr., Mike Myers, Lauren London, the list keeps growing, but it's Cassie's allegations that truly opened Pandora's box. According to her lawsuit, numerous Bad Boy employees witnessed the abuse but remained silent. These same staff members were allegedly responsible for delivering apology gifts after violent incidents and even setting up those infamous private parties, handling everything down to the hotel bookings and room preparations. Court documents detail how the system worked. After alleged incidents of abuse, Diddy would disappear for a while, only for his assistants to arrive with extravagant gifts, designer bags, jewelry, luxury vacations, all delivered with rehearsed apologies. It wasn't just compensation, it was a well-oiled machine designed to maintain silence and ensure continued control. Former employees have described a toxic culture where looking the other way wasn't just encouraged, it was required for survival in Diddy's inner circle. Even more disturbing were Cassie's claims that after one particularly traumatic event, both Diddy's head of security and assistant broke down crying upon seeing her condition. If these allegations prove true, these staff members will undoubtedly face subpoenas, forcing them to testify about what they witnessed. Legal experts analyzing the case point out that testimony from these employees could be the smoking gun prosecutors need. Unlike other witnesses who might have seen isolated incidents, these staff members allegedly saw the pattern unfold over years. The violence, the apologies, the gifts, and then the cycle repeating itself. What's particularly damning is that many of these employees reportedly have documentation, text messages, calendar entries, receipts that could corroborate Cassie's timeline of events, and several are rumored to have kept detailed records, sensing that someday they might be needed, either as protection for themselves or as evidence against their powerful employer.
The first Diddy party I went to was at Prince's house. So you want to go to Prince's house to the Diddy party where Tyrese is performing and Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher are swinging on swings. That is what's happening on the other side of the wall. And so the one thing that makes this party different than a Jamie Foxx party or any other celebrity party that wrangles a bunch of young women or guys or whatever too, is that Diddy didn't let you bring your security in the party.
Your life and getting you into rehab.
Yes, he did. I had a long time kind of battling those things, and after my father passed, it got really bad. And so I called up Big Bruh to help. He said, okay, when and where.
The connections run deeper than anyone imagined. Harve Pierre's name surfaced in another lawsuit filed by a Jane Doe, claiming he convinced her to fly from Detroit to New Jersey, where she was allegedly assaulted by both him and Diddy. Young Miami reportedly transported substances while on Diddy's payroll. Dallas Austin, childhood friend of Kim Porter, has been mentioned, reigniting questions about Porter's sudden death. What many don't realize is that Kim Porter had allegedly confided in close friends about troubling experiences before her passing. Those friends have remained silent until now, but court proceedings may finally give them the platform to share what they know. The timing of her death has always raised questions among those closest to her, especially given what she supposedly knew about the inner workings of Diddy's empire. Dallas Austin's potential testimony could shed light on conversations he had with Porter in the weeks before she died, conversations that reportedly left him deeply concerned for her safety. While official reports cited pneumonia as Porter's cause of death, skeptics have never been satisfied with that explanation, pointing to her otherwise good health and the sudden nature of her decline.
It wasn't hard at all. It was a 2-second phone call, he's gone. I had been preparing for 2 years, so I knew that it was coming.
What does that mean?
He said it a couple of years ago.
What would he say?
What he said was, I've done everything that I've come to do. So I was crushed for about two years.
Former choreographer Lorianne Gibson filed a police report claiming Diddy threatened her with a chair on set. Aubrey O'Day has vocally supported Cassie's claims while sharing her own experiences. Dawn Richard even sued Diddy, describing how the alleged abuse started right during making the band filming, with Diddy hurling insults at women contestants while cameras rolled. She claimed he would force hours of rehearsals without rest, food, or sleep, taking advantage when she was vulnerable. Most damning of all, Dawn stated she personally witnessed Diddy physically abusing Cassie while under the influence. The Making the Band footage itself has become a point of interest for prosecutors, who are reportedly reviewing hundreds of hours of unaired material. Former production crew members have come forward, explaining that what aired was only a fraction of what was captured. The most troubling moments, the ones where Diddy's behavior crossed the line, were allegedly edited out to maintain the show's image and protect the network from liability. Multiple contestants from different seasons have described similar experiences of degradation, manipulation, and exploitation, painting a picture of systematic abuse disguised as tough music industry training. What viewers saw as entertaining reality TV drama may have been documenting something far more sinister. The mystery deepens with the men connected to Cassie. Michael B. Jordan's name emerged because of a flirtatious interaction with Cassie in 2015, but it's Kid Cudi's story that stands out dramatically. Cassie admitted to a brief relationship with him in 2011 during a break from Diddy. When Diddy discovered old emails between them after reconciling with Cassie, she claims he was so enraged that he allegedly arranged to have Kid Cudi's car blown up. And documentation confirms this actually happened. Police reports from the time show that authorities investigated the explosion but never identified a suspect. Kid Cudi himself has been reluctant to discuss the incident publicly, but sources close to him reveal he's always suspected who was behind it. The nature of the attack, precise, targeted, and designed to send a message rather than cause physical harm, aligned perfectly with the psychological warfare Cassie described in her lawsuit. Security footage from Kid Cudi's neighborhood that night reportedly captured a black SUV with tinted windows driving slowly past his house multiple times before the explosion. Investigators have reopened this cold case, now examining potential connections between the vehicle and Diddy's security team at the time. But the most chilling connection circles back to Prince. Just days before his death, he posted a photo with a cryptic caption, "Just when you thought you were safe." At his final Paisley Park appearance, after reportedly receiving medical treatment, he told the crowd something haunting: "Wait a few days before you waste any prayers." What kind of statement is that unless someone knows something ominous is approaching? Those who attended that final show described Prince as unusually somber between songs, occasionally scanning the room as if looking for someone. His usual playful banter was replaced with cryptic statements and prolonged moments of silence. One attendee recalled him stopping mid-performance, staring into space for nearly a full minute before whispering something to his bandmate and continuing the song. The musician who received that whisper has never revealed what Prince said, but afterward they appeared visibly shaken. Several staff members at Paisley Park noted that in his final weeks, Prince had changed the security protocols at the compound, limiting access to his private areas and installing additional cameras throughout the property. He'd even hired a digital security consultant to sweep for surveillance devices and secure his communication channels. Actions that seemed paranoid until viewed through the lens of what we're learning now. Prince was found unresponsive at his Minnesota estate, with the official report citing an accidental fentanyl overdose from counterfeit Vicodin pills. But those who knew Prince never accepted this explanation. He was renowned for his clean lifestyle. No drugs, no excess. How does someone so health conscious supposedly die from synthetic opioids? Medical experts who've reviewed the case note several inconsistencies in the official narrative. The concentration of fentanyl found in Prince's system was dramatically higher than what would typically be found in counterfeit pills, raising questions about whether the drugs were planted or administered rather than voluntarily taken. Additionally, Prince had been working with addiction specialists in the weeks before his death, not for himself, but reportedly to help a friend struggling with substance abuse. This friend, who has remained anonymous, has told investigators that Prince never displayed signs of drug use during their interactions. The timeline surrounding Prince's death contains another puzzling element. The elevator where he was found had security camera coverage, but the footage from the critical hours leading up to the discovery of his body was allegedly corrupted, a technical glitch that conveniently eliminated potentially crucial evidence. What many don't realize is that Prince wasn't just an artistic genius. He was a fighter who spent decades battling major corporations over ownership and control of his music. He was relentless about protecting artists' rights and ensuring fair compensation. Some believe he paid the ultimate price for standing his ground against powerful industry forces. Behind closed doors, Prince had been meeting with lawyers specializing in intellectual property law in the months before his death. He was preparing what insiders describe as a nuclear option against the music industry, a legal strategy that would have fundamentally changed how artists' rights were protected. His personal journals, partially released to his estate after his death, contain detailed notes about industry corruption, naming specific executives and detailing allegations of exploitation, fraud, and even criminal activity. These journals allegedly contain references to parties where young artists were manipulated and exploited, with Prince specifically mentioning having evidence that will bring it all down. The question nobody has been able to answer is, what happened to this evidence, and who might have wanted to ensure it never saw the light of day? Prince signed with Warner at just 18 years old. While his early albums didn't immediately break through, the label recognized his visionary talent and kept him. By 1982, as MTV was launching, Prince was redefining music and building his own cultural mythology. When Purple Rain dropped in 1984, he wasn't just a superstar, he was a cultural phenomenon. Those early contracts Prince signed would come back to haunt him as his career exploded. Industry veterans who worked with him during that period recall his growing frustration as he realized the true implications of what he'd signed away. "I remember him sitting in the studio one night after everyone else had left," recalls a former sound engineer who worked on several Prince albums. "He was going through his contract line by line with a lawyer on the phone, and I heard him say, 'So they own my name forever?' When he got confirmation, he just put his head in his hands." That was the beginning of the rebellion. Prince had begun to understand something fundamental about the music industry, that artists were viewed as products rather than creators, their identities and output treated as commodities to be owned and exploited. This realization transformed him from a brilliant musician into a revolutionary who was determined to change the system, not just for himself, but for all artists. Behind the scenes, Prince was growing increasingly frustrated that Warner owned the rights to his name and music. In an unprecedented move, he changed his name to a symbol, declaring war for creative freedom. Meanwhile, Diddy was cutting deals with those same entities. He formed a massive joint venture with Warner Music Group, giving them 50% stake in Bad Boy Records and control over distribution of the entire catalog. The contrast between these two approaches couldn't be more striking. While Prince was sacrificing commercial success to stand on principle, Diddy was embracing the very system Prince was fighting against. Former Warner executives have revealed that during board meetings, Diddy's willingness to play ball was often explicitly contrasted with Prince's rebellion. Prince was the example of what not to do if you wanted longevity in this business. One former executive explained, "Diddy was held up as the model, someone who understood that this was a business first, art second." This fundamental philosophical divide between the two artists may explain why Prince kept his distance while still allowing Diddy to use his property. Some speculate that Prince was gathering information, documenting the very corruption he was fighting against, preparing for a moment when he could expose not just individual bad actors, but the entire system that enabled them. The most disturbing speculation surrounds what Prince might have known about those parties in his mansion. If he had recordings, was he planning to expose what happened there? According to his sister Tyka Nelson, Prince told her he was in trouble days before his death. Though many thought they weren't close, insiders revealed they shared more than blood. They shared secrets. What makes this revelation particularly significant is the timing. In the weeks before Prince's death, he had reportedly reached out to several high-profile journalists known for investigative reporting on the music industry. These contacts were discreet, made through intermediaries, and with strict confidentiality agreements, but multiple sources have confirmed they occurred. One journalist, who has requested anonymity for safety concerns, admits that Prince had arranged a meeting for May 2016, just weeks after his death. The subject of the meeting was described only as industry corruption at the highest levels, with a promise of irrefutable evidence. That meeting never happened, and whatever evidence Prince might have been preparing to share has never surfaced publicly. Some speculate that certain powerful figures in the industry learned of Prince's intentions and took preventive action to protect themselves. Others believe the evidence still exists, hidden away as an insurance policy by someone Prince trusted, waiting for the right moment to emerge. Tika revealed their deep bond in 2018, explaining how their parents instructed Prince to look after her. This wasn't just emotional support. Prince once stepped in when Tika struggled with substance abuse, getting her into rehab. But most chilling was her revelation that Prince seemed to be preparing her for his departure a full 2 years before it happened, as if he anticipated something was coming. In more recent interviews, Tyka has elaborated on these preparations. Prince had methodically organized his affairs, updating his will, cataloging his vast music archive, and even preparing detailed instructions for maintaining Paisley Park after his death. It wasn't like him to be that organized about business matters, Tyka explained. He usually focused on the creative and let others handle the paperwork, but suddenly he was obsessed with making sure everything was in order. Most telling was a safe deposit box Prince arranged for Tyka to access in the event of his death. The contents of this box have never been disclosed publicly, but those close to the family say it contained documents, digital storage devices, and explicit instructions. Whatever these materials contained, they were important enough for Prince to ensure they would be preserved and protected. Some believe this could be the very evidence that prosecutors in the Diddy case are now seeking, proof of wrongdoing that Prince was safeguarding for the future. During their final phone call just 4 days before his death, Tyka felt something was wrong. She tried asking serious questions, but Prince kept deflecting, changing subjects, or cracking jokes. Whatever was weighing on him, he chose to keep it locked away, perhaps trying to protect those he loved. That final conversation has haunted Tyka ever since. He kept saying things like, "The truth always comes out eventually," and "some battles you have to fight alone." She recalled in a rare interview, "When I pressed him on what he meant, he just said he'd made sure that certain things would would be revealed when the time was right. The very next day, Prince changed the access codes to certain areas of Paisley Park, areas that contained his most private recordings and documents. Only a handful of his most trusted associates were given the new codes. His personal chef noticed that Prince had stopped eating anything he hadn't personally prepared, suddenly concerned about what might be in his food. His longtime driver observed that Prince had started taking different routes to and from appointments, often making last-minute changes to avoid being predictable. These weren't the actions of someone simply concerned about privacy, they were the behaviors of someone who felt actively threatened. As this courtroom drama continues to unfold, the question remains, could Prince have possessed evidence about what happened at those parties? Was he planning to reveal it? And most disturbingly, did someone ensure those recordings would never see the light of day? The pieces of this puzzle are still coming together, and the truth might be more shocking than anyone's prepared for. This saga is far from over, and with each new testimony, another layer of Hollywood's darkest secrets threatens to be exposed.